Welcome everyone to our podcast, The Truth Pill. Episode 2, we're going to talk about self-deception. Let's go ahead and start this out. So, sis, what do
hmm
you think is, self-deception?
Well, on the first hand, self deception, I think you, to me, I think it's different levels to it. I mean, you can talk about self sabotage, deception, and, different relationships between, you know, a relationship between a man and a woman, not being real with yourself about what's happening to you. You know, it's really sad how many young girls go through this every day. You know, even they'll have a child with a guy, and like the man is the love of her life. She really loved him, but on his end, it's really not that way, and his actions really show you that he does really doesn't want to be with you. He just tolerates you because, you know, you're his child's mother.
Mm,
And you're not really seeing that he really doesn't want to be, he doesn't spend any time with you. He doesn't, I don't know, take you out. He doesn't do a lot of different things. But the little bit of time that he do spend with you, you take that and you hold that and it's like golden and you think that he cares about you a lot, you know, and not really looking at the point that if a man really loves you and wants you, he's going to make it his duty to spend time with you. He's going to make it, you know, his duty to uplift you and compliment you and everything. And you see that this is not going on. But you, the littlest thing, I don't care if he writes you a little thank you card and that's just like, oh, he did that. And you're not paying attention to the fact that he's just not that into you.
yeah. I mean, because love, isn't it an action verb?
Yes. And that's what a lot of people do not realize, that love is an act of service
Hmm.
to another person. Even when you look at the scripture talking about love, it has nothing to do with self.
Yep. It's all about what they say, charity, right? On how you're,
Exactly.
you're serving someone else, right? And then
Yep. Yep.
um it talks about also how, if you want to be treated a certain way, you treat the next person, how you would want to be treated, as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the whole
Yep.
the whole basis of foundation, natural law, Yah's way is all based on love. And that's
Mm-hmm.
how we create what? Synchron I cannot say that word. Just be in sync, all of creation be in
Mm-hmm.
sync, under law, under love,
Yep.
right?
Yep. And having respect for everyone and every living thing. You're right.
Yep, because all life is precious, right? And
Yep.
Yah's spirit or Yah's, ruach is in every living thing.
Yep.
So when you don't show love, you're actually disrespecting Yah. You're disrespecting the Yah in them because Yah is in all living things.
Yes.
And that's the thing that people
Yes.
don't understand. So yeah,
Yep.
when you see someone, they, show you that they're not acting in love towards you, you believe them.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
believe you believe their fruit. Their
Exactly.
action, their action is their
Yep.
fruit. That's the fruit that
Yep.
they bear.
Yep. And you also believe someone when they're angry at you. What they come out and say out their mouth, you best believe that's how they feel.
Yep, because out of the heart, it starts with the mind, and then whatever is on your mind, whatever comes out your mouth, it comes from the heart, and your heart is connected
Yep.
to the mind. So, yep,
Yep.
yep. And what
Yep. And it's a
ways?
scripture that says that.
Oh, I'm sorry, sis.
No,
Go
I was
ahead.
just agreeing with you, sis, saying that it's a scripture that says that.
Mhm. Yep, there is. I know exactly what scripture you're talking about too.
Yep.
Yep. I was just gonna mention, like, what are ways one deceive themselves?
We just discussed one in personal relationships, not seeing, not wanting to see what is really there in a relationship. I mean, it can be in partnership in business. It can be in just in loved ones in the family. They treat you a certain way, and you just continue doing it because you're used to it. You're used to
Mhm.
being in the front. So many different types of ways that this happens. People will use you as long as you allow them to. you know and you think just because you have to, even siblings, you think just because you are a sister or brother, you have um a few sisters that that lean on you like that, they're going to continue to lean on you, um and treat you how they want to treat you. As long as you let them know that they're able to get what they want to get out of you, they are going to do it.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
true.
what people do.
Yeah. I mean, and you can also deceive yourself. I mean, as well, have self-deception about
Hmm.
your own self, about, who
Yep.
you are, as
Yep.
well. And that's
Yep.
another aspect as well. People don't want to hear that, "Oh, wait, I'm a terrible individual. I've done this and this to, people." You know? They
Yep.
deceive
I
themselves
never
like
want
they're
to
a
see.
good, they're a good person, that they have done no wrong, but really they've been terrible for a minute.
That's a good thing right there, sis, that you said, because you do. In order, you want to know who you are, look at who's around you and look at their perception of you, and that'll tell you. Let other people tell you who you are, and it's a scripture that talks about that as well. You don't, come up with your own analysis of who you are. People will let you know. The way people flock to you, it'll tell you.
Yeah, it says don't boast about yourself,
Hmm.
don't brag about yourself, let other people, do that for you. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Because a lot of the time people think that they're something and they really just haven't been, they're nothing, really.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I mean, again, like we talked about before, it may be a hard pill to swallow that you just, you ain't right, but hey, you got to start from there, right? That's part of being accountable. So that
Hmm.
way you can correct it. That doesn't mean that is the end all be all, but it's
Yep.
just that you have an awareness now. I'm like, wow, I just am just I don't know, a mean person. Like every person I encounter, I just have a bad attitude.
Yep.
Okay. First acknowledge that I am a mean person. I have a nasty attitude. Okay, what am I
Yep.
gonna do about this now? I acknowledge that I have
Yep.
a bad attitude, and then you could just move
Hmm.
from there, right?
Being able to take constructive criticism is a way to come up out of, having those rose-colored glasses on all the time. If you're not able to do that, then you're not gonna come up out of it.
Yeah, that's correct, sis. I mean,
You got to take accountability.
exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. The accountability is an important factor just to be able to do better, to expand, to elevate.
Hmm. Yep.
Because in order to elevate, you have to acknowledge, the lack.
Yep.
You have to acknowledge yourself and where you're at
Yep.
in real time, not in an imaginary time in your mind of what you think. you know, that's how you deceive
Yep.
yourself. You just think in your imaginary world there, but that's not reality.
Hmm.
But like, let's talk about like how do one prevent, self deception or deceiving themselves.
Like I said, accountability is one. You know, um, being able to go within and look at yourself. I mean, really pay attention to you, um, and look at your flaws. Sometimes people don't know their flaws until somebody else brings them out. But being really, if somebody tell you, like you said, you're a mean person, really going inside of yourself and really looking at the fact of, am I mean? Am I really mean? Like, what do I do that's mean? Oh, do I talk to people nasty all the time? Like things like that. Going within yourself and really, acknowledging what it is, taking the time for you, setting time aside to really you know, evaluate yourself. Self evaluation is real. I really believe you should set a time out for you to be doing some self evaluation. I don't care if it's every 60 days, once a year. By the time your birthday come, you want to know, okay, am I living up to what I said I was going to do this year? Am I being the person that I said I was going to be? You should really self evaluate yourself.
Yep, I agree 100%. And then when it comes to people, like you said, business wise or a partner, you know, communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Communicate and see. Make sure you have an understanding, regarding in business or
Yep.
within a potential mate. And
Mm-hmm.
then you watch, their actions. You watch what they're doing, and don't deceive yourself. Like, oh, it can't be. They can't be
Mm-hmm.
operating in that way. They can't be. No, see it for what it is.
Exactly.
They
And don't let
really do.
nobody talk you out of it either. If you know for a fact, now sometimes granted, I know that, you know, some people just have like, trust issues and you see things that's not there, but you think is there. But no, really look. And if you know for a fact that this is going on, whatever it is that's going on, you need to address it. Don't continue not to address what's going on, because what's going to happen is it's only going to get bigger. It's going to become a bigger problem.
Yep, because they're gonna, think it's okay, everything is okay, and it really isn't okay because you haven't communicated, what
Hmm.
you're seeing, what the issue is. So it's not gonna get resolved, really.
Yep.
And say you do communicate, you see how they're operating and so forth. And after you
Hmm.
communicate, they're still doing it. Well, now
Hmm.
you just move accordingly.
Yep.
Yep, you just move accordingly,
Yep.
and be like, okay, this is how it is. Okay, so this is the direction that I'm going to take now. I'm going to exit left or whatever it is.
Yep.
Um, yeah,
Yep. And just be, you don't have to be mean about it. You just can be real upfront about it and just, and just go.
yeah.
If that goes. Hmm.
No, you can go ahead, sis. No, I was just gonna say, like, that saying is like, what's it talk about? When somebody tells you something, show you something, believe them. Uh,
Uh-huh.
do you
Yes.
know what
I
I'm
was
talking
just
about?
about
I
to
think.
Yes, that's one of the things, you took that right out my mouth. I was going to say that, yep. Show you who they are, believe them.
Okay, thank you. You worded it better.
Yeah, believe them. When somebody say something to you, especially when they're angry, believe them. Listen. You have two ears for a reason. Listen before you speak. Pay attention and expect nothing and be surprised. I mean, and don't be surprised. I'm sorry. Don't be
Yeah, don't
surprised.
be surprised because they already said, they already spoke it, they already showed it. So what is
Yep.
there to be surprised about? They already
No.
told you.
Yep.
It shows you.
Expect nothing. Expect nothing from no one. Accept the person for who they are, for who they show you. You gotta look for a thing. For real, I really think, and maybe this can be another for another episode, since people really need to start reading people's those first 3-4 seconds, of a conversation. Look them in their face and things, so you can see their true reaction. Um, a lot of people know how to, hide their reaction within seconds of how they really feeling on the inside. But if you paying attention, you can see it.
Mm, I agree with you.
Yeah,
That's the things that we normally ignore.
yep.
But
That's
yeah.
part of not deceiving yourself. That's a good trick to, start really looking at when operating with people. I don't care what type of relationship it is.
Mhm.
You can see people's true colors if you pay attention to them when, you know, something happens, when you're on your lowest, you know, when you at your lowest, when, the first couple of minutes in a conversation, you'll be able to see.
Yeah. And that boils it down to, it's like, how do you overcome self-deception? Right
Hmm.
then and there is just, again, having awareness.
Yep.
Really not putting them rose-colored glasses on,
Yep.
you know, and just seeing things for how it is.
Yep.
Don't second guess yourself.
Nope.
And that's the thing is, a lot of, people second guess themselves.
Yes, a lot of, especially a lot of women. We it takes a lot, especially nowadays, because you're not taught to live in it. Like, listen to your, if you think something is going on and it doesn't, then it don't, and you pay attention to it.
Yep. Well,
Pay attention to it for yourself. On to, you know, allow, but you self-consciously feeling that you chose to keep on with it.
mm,
Pay attention. Listen to yourself, ladies. You know, you really know you're intact, in tune with the spiritual realm. You're born, so you know when something is not right.
mm, 100%.
Yep. You just forget along the way because you're not brought up in it, or maybe you know a little bit. You just second guess yourself. Teach yourself how to listen to your first mind, which is your intuition.
Yep. And I believe we lost it because we just so sucked into the Western way, the modern way.
Mm-hmm. The
We,
hustle and bustle.
yep,
And
we're just out of alignment.
yep,
Yep.
I think it's so, you know, can't, they don't have that feeling. Well, okay, whatever. And it's time walking in it and teaching our younger sisters, to walk in, and live by it, because it will save them a lot of heartache and a lot of pain.
Yes, ma'am. And I mean, that's all I have to say about that. You have
Hmm.
anything else you want to input about it?
No, I think that's good for this episode.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to our podcast and stay tuned for another episode.